Hey, welcome back, guys. Let me just move this a little bit. So, today we're talking about this guitar that I got from Temu. It was at that time $88. Now, I have just got off the website and have seen this same guitar that I got for $88 now going as high as 135, but there are still some um, vendors out there that are picking this up from a manufacturer and selling them still at $99 and sometimes a little bit cheaper. But a lot of other people have jumped on the bandwagon, picked up this guitar from the manufacturer, and are trying to make a profit of it. So I got this for $88. And then when it came in, I went over the guitar as I usually do. I go through to see what it is, what it isn't. And I'll tell you right now, no matter who's selling it, it is the same guitar. So they try to tell you it's basswood, but it's hard to verify really what the wood is. This is a very cheap guitar from China, like a lot of other guitars from China. China has a lot of manufacturers out there that are making guitars for a lot of people. And what you're really buying is just a name that a company puts on their branded guitars. But they're all still coming out of China. And this one is a no name brand guitar. But it is a Glary guitar. It's under the Glary manufacturer. That headstock, that's a Glary headstock. I've seen that headstock on Glary guitars, so I know that this manufacturer just decided to put out their own version of the guitar that they've been making for other people, which they have the right to do. It's not labeled Glary, but it's the same kind of nonsense going on here. It could be Poplar. They're trying to make it look like ash. That's all fake. It's a super light body, so it could be Poplar, could be basswood. I think basswood actually even weighs more, so I'm not going to say basswood, but it's a given. I don't really know. I'm not an expert on. I just know it feels real light. It's actually more neck heavy than it is anything else. So it is neck heavy. This is not a real veneer. This is nothing more than a decal put over a piece of wood that could be poplar or basswood. And, so when I bought it, I wanted to see, like, what do you really get for $88, plus tax, it's like $90, right? And so my expectations were right on. Um, this is nothing more than a decal. It's a sticker placed on a piece of wood and then sprayed over. The finish is good. There's no bubbling going on there. It's a really decent finished guitar. I mean, they did a good job spraying whatever polyurethane over it. So and the hardware is pretty decent. So what did I do to get this into a really nice playing guitar? Well, I definitely changed the strings. I reset the radius on the saddles. I did check the intonation. You'll have to, these are the things you have to do. You'll have to check the intonation, make sure that that's okay. And then what I also noticed is the neck was very sticky. I don't know what they sprayed on the back of it, but it was very, very ugly feeling neck. So I took, what all of us do who buy cheap guitars and we know we're going to have to do a little work to them. I took some sandpaper, like a 800 grit up to a 1000 grit, and just sanded away whatever nasty, tacky, ugly, and man, did it really change the feeling. And it just, there were no fret spurs, believe it or not. The fret work is pretty decent. Is it leveled? I don't know. I didn't really want to get into whether or not all the frets were level. I was more or less wanting to, this is the most thing that as guitar players we're concerned about. Is there a lot of fret spurs? This is the reality. I have bought Fender Squier guitars that are absolutely hideous with the fret spurs. This guitar costed, with a discount, $66. And it's got better fretwork than a Fender Squier that sells anywhere from 150 to 220. So I'm going to take that all day. I didn't do any fret work on this other than take my fret erasers to take off any oxidation that might have been on there, and that's just rubbing it up and down. When you buy these fret erasers, they even sell these on Temu also. That's where I got them. These fret erasers come in three grains, very coarse, medium coarse, and light for polishing. But they're good at removing a lot of oxidation. This green one is a very coarse eraser. That will definitely take off some material. So this is almost a no-no unless you're really maybe building a guitar and you need to really take off some material and there's a lot of ugliness. The yellow one is good for getting rid of a lot of the oxidation that comes on a lot of import guitars from China. This is good. And then the final one is good for a lot of smoothing out the fretwork and doing a semi polish. And this is good. So that's all you really need to do. Is use either the green or yellow fret eraser. And I did that. And I really polished them up a little bit. Nice, a lot better than the way that it came in. This is not real rosewood. The company is still advertising this as a rosewood, the manufacturer. I don't care who's selling it on Temu, but here's the reality. It's not rosewood. It's composite. It's a composite material on the fretboard, which will entitle you to a discount. If you contact Temu and say, hey, this item is not as described. This is not rosewood. This is composite. You'll be entitled to a discount. What your discount will be, I'm sure will vary. For me, I got a $35, $32 discount, which my total cost was $66 because I called them out. I know this fretboard material. I've seen it on a lot of do-it-yourself. It's a composite fretboard. It's not real wood. I don't know what it's made of, but it's hard to know what you could use to hydrate the neck. I tried lemon oil. It did a little something. I'm not really sure. I tried some other stuff to try to hydrate the neck. It did a little something, but it's not real wood, so the absorption to what you're going to use to hydrate the neck to keep it from being parched and dry will vary. Just use what you got. I'm sure it'll make some sort of difference, but just don't expect it to be rosewood. It's not. So we got a decal on some type of wood, poplar, basswood, who knows. You're gonna the tuners are okay on this. Now I notice with any Chinese import, tuners are hit and miss. Sometimes you'll start tuning it, there's a big gap, a lot of play, and these are definitely not the best tuners in the world. They're pretty bad, but guess what? They're actually doing their job right now, and so I'm not jumping the gun to replace them at the moment. In the future, yeah, I might think about getting some better tuners with some better gearing. But for right now, these are doing the job. So, and there's not a major slippage. Now, if there was major slippage, I would have to replace the tuners sooner than later because that's a no-no. Definitely plastic nut. I do have it stringed up with some Fender non-bullet strings, a 9 gauge. I do have it tuned down a half step to make the playability of this guitar much more comfortable. At A440, it's a little too tight, and I wasn't digging on it, so I tuned it down a half step, and now it's really nice. So with these minor adjustments, by adjusting the radius of the saddles, checking the intonation, right? Sanding the back of the neck, it's made a world of difference. It's really turned it into a very fun guitar. I did put in the back of the spring chamber, I reset the springs instead of them being triangular. I put a piece of foam to kind of quiet down the spring because sometimes there's a lot of vibration that comes from the strings. It's got a cast iron block, a very thin one, very cheap. You can also, upgrade, the bridge to have a big block, as long as you can find something that's going to match the cutout. That's a given. That's a hit and miss, so you never know. Other than that, the pots, they're just your basic, imported type pots. It's got one capacitor. Um, I think they were the dime sized pots, but in this video, I'm not going to show you the pots. I'm just telling you that they do the job. You know, I think they were dime sized pots, 500K pots. I can't remember if they were full. Even if they were full size, they're going to be pretty crappy anyway. I mean, bottom line, $66. My expectations are right on the money with this. But to my surprise, the pickups turned it like the pickups really made this cheap guitar the best bang for the buck I have ever bought from any imported Chinese guitar. These pickups sound actually very good and they're very distinctive. And so now the pickups kind of blew me away. I don't want to say blew me away, but they surprised me with the sound quality. They are a bit microphonic, but even if they're a bit microphonic, they're a lot better than some of the other crap that I have heard. And so as long as you can get a distinctive tone from your three-way toggle, and the three-way toggle is actually pretty smooth. It's not that bad. I mean, it's not crappy to, I mean, some of them are just like real harsh, real tight, and, they make a loud noise. This is actually pretty smooth. Not bad. I have the trem on here because I could actually use the tremolo on this too. So, but the surprise is the pickups are actually, there's a good winding on them, so they have a lot of good character for the money. Now, I'm telling you guys, for $66, I'm a winner chicken dinner all day long with this. And you can still find this on Temu. And if you do the things that I'm recommending to you, this will be an excellent beginner's guitar, intermediate guitar. I'm a professional player. I've been playing guitar for 37 years. And I can sit down and really just enjoy this guitar because there's really not much to it. Let's get to some of the sound qualities here. Let me get this readjusted. And I'm going to show you right now, starting in the bridge. Bridge pickups are usually a lot brighter, but it's okay. It's not very harsh at all. They're supposed to be brighter. Here's the tone knob. I'm running this right now through my Yamaha THR-10X. I'm running, of course, some reverb on here, some very mild delay, and when we get to the dirty tones, I'll be using my Behringer Ultra Metal for the dirty tones. But the guitar does have a lot of character. So this is the bridge again. You can get rid of that brightness by just turning down the tone knob a little bit. Now we go to the middle position. It's got great Gibson type tones in that middle position. yeah, it's got great Gibson type tones in the middle. Now going to the neck. Middle. Bridge. So that's a big surprise that these pickups, even though they're a little microphonic, they sound pretty good. And for $66, because of the discount, because I called out the company, I contacted Temu support and said, hey, I don't really want to send back the guitar, but if you give me a discount because the item is not as described, because it's not, anybody advertising it says rosewood, that's a no-no. If you put composite fretboard, then you won't be entitled to a discount. But as long as they're advertising rosewood fretboard, you may be entitled to a discount. I got one. I think it was like $32 they gave me out. So total cost $66. All right, I'm going to turn on my Behringer Ultra Metal. And I'm going to turn up my delay here to kind of show you that this thing can definitely rock out and give you a lot of great heavy metal type tones, starting in the bridge position. That's pretty tight for $66. That's got to be the best playing $66 guitar I've ever heard. Okay, middle position. And in the middle position, you're still going to hear a lot of that Gibson type tone in there. So it's retaining a lot of that scooped sort of tone you always get with any double humbucker. So it's got a lot of that Gibson type stuff going on there. Now in the neck, has a lot, doesn't have a real deep scooped tone in the neck pickup, but it's enough. I mean, to have a very enjoyable guitar. If you add a little bit of Crybaby to that, it still sounds very good. Bridge. Well, that's going to do it, guys. So if you're looking for a guitar where you can possibly even get a discount, because as long as they're going to advertise it with a rosewood fretboard, and it's not a rosewood, it's a composite fretboard. It looks more like ebony than anything, but it's not. I don't know if it's real wood. It's, I don't know what that composite stuff's all about, but it looks nice. It looks better than a lot of other guitars, given the fact that this is just a decal that's been sprayed over on a wood body that's hard to describe. Poplar, basswood, I don't know. I looked in the cavity. It's hard to say. It could be just about anything, really. Non-branded headstock, that's the glary headstock. So that's what a lot of these guys from China do. They're making guitars for a lot of these Chinese companies with different names on them, but they have the right also to put out that same style of guitar because they're the one manufacturing it, but they're licensed not to put anything here. So that's what you're getting here. And they're selling this for less than 100, but it doesn't take much to get this to be a very good playing guitar. And in my opinion, is that these pickups are pretty good, man. Don't get me wrong. That's kind of why I made this video, because I wanted everyone to have the opportunity to buy this guitar, understanding exactly what it is, but knowing that the pickups actually sound pretty good, because I have heard some horrible pickups coming out of China. But these just have a better wound to them, so they actually have a lot more character. And for $66, guys, this is a winner chicken dinner from Temu. This is the surprise. Really, but it's nice looking guitar. It's a nice looking guitar, and there's some decent quality here. You just got to spend a little time with the bridge, a little bit of sandpaper on the back, get rid of all that ugliness, man. And this thing feels good. I'm not joking, man. This neck feels really good, and I'm not sure what another person's gonna end up with, but if you just follow these simple rules, you're gonna have a really nice, wonderful playing guitar. Best guitar from Temu as of right now for less than $100. This is it right here. This is it, guy. It's coming out of a warehouse called Home Fish. It has nothing to do with the brand. A lot of other resellers, wholesalers are buying this from the manufacturer, and it's still not gonna have a branded name on there because it's a glary guitar. These guys, the manufacturer, just said, hey, let's get a decal, let's slap it on there, and we'll sell the same guitar, and that we're making for glary or whoever. And that's kind of what they do. It's all about business, guys. So If you're looking for a good guitar that can turn into a really good playing guitar that you can actually sit down and enjoy and won't be totally disappointed that you wasted $100, because $100 doesn't get you much these days. But this is really a surprise to me, and I expected this not to be real anyway. But I kind of like the way that it looked. I really like the dark to light fade and then into the black headstock. It kind of had its own special vibe. But I spent a little time with it. Intonation, reset the saddles, to the right radius. Took a little fret eraser, got rid of any sort of oxidation, and some sandpaper. That's all it takes. You can count that the pickups are definitely going to be the same, and I expect that what you're going to hear is going to be the same thing I'm hearing here. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for. I hope that this has been informational to you. And yeah, you're entitled to a discount as long as they're advertising this fretboard to be rosewood. It's not. It's composite. So, but you can still end up with a very nice playing guitar. And it doesn't take very much with this particular unit to have a really good, enjoyable guitar and a nice neck. It really feels good, guys. I'm not kidding when I say that. Man, if this thing had fret spurs for days, I wouldn't even have made a video. I would have just sent it back because, nobody really wants to spend time doing fret work. It's a real pain in the butt. But this was really, really good. And I just took some, down from 4 to 6 to 1,000, and man, it just feels glass. It feels baby smooth back here, and no fret spurs. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out, and sorry that the video took longer than I wanted it to, but it's pretty much informational. And look for this on Temu. You'll see people trying to sell this same guitar for over $100. Don't buy that. Look for the ones that are selling it for $99 and less. It's still available on Temu. All right. Thanks for hanging out.